Suppose this is a line and we are introduced with this is called sine curve in trigonometry. So if we move this line, now this is one line 2D, the three-dimensional line is projected like this. Suppose this is the line, and if we move this line in sinuous curve nature in this way, this will generate a folded train. Means if we move this line here, then 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 here, parallel to itself. If we move this line, they are parallel. This line here, it is also parallel. If we move in such a way and connect the locus of that line, what is this? It in 3D it is a folded train. So this imaginary straight line for a cylindrical fold, what is non-cylindrical fold, I will cover later. For the time being, just keep this term in your mind. For a cylindrical fold where fold axis is straight line, this imaginary line which by moving parallel to itself generated the folded surface is called fold axis. Very important two elements, fold axis and axial plane. And for successive layers, this is one layer, this is another layer. Here the fold axis is like this. If we draw another layer below, its fold axis will be this. The plane on which this fold axis will fall, that plane will be called as axial plane. This plane, these are the fold axis on the plane. This is the axial plane. So here are few important things: hinge line, fold axis and axial plane have been explained. And now the axial planes in field can be identified by cleavage or schistosity plane. Now from this we will move to the cleavage or foliation or schistosity planes. Generally axial planar cleavage or foliation or schistosity planes we observed, means these are the secondary planes developed in the rocks in response to the deformation. Suppose This was the initial curvature and compression took place, and such folds have been generated. So this will be the trace of the axial planes. But from the last demonstration you probably understood that these axial planes are imaginary planes, but these imaginary planes are manifested in reality by the occurrence of axial planar cleavages, axial planar cystosity, axial planar foliation planes. Now, what are these planes? These are the planes where in mineral kingdom there are a few minerals called biotite, muscovite, amphiboles, which due to their platy nature or flaky nature the structure of these minerals are platy or flaky, means two dimensions of these minerals are very long and compared to another short dimension. Suppose this is XYZ axis, the Z dimension is very less and X and Y are large. So this flaky or platy minerals in and amphiboles is prismatic, long prismatic, means one dimension is more in comparison to the other two. So these platy and flaky minerals in response to compression gets oriented in a preferred orientation. Suppose this is the compression and here the orientation of biotites were random like this with the response of compression this randomly oriented. Suppose this biotite, if you compress it, it will turn to this. This one is already oriented to the compression axis in a high angle, so it will form this. So this kind of arrangement will form in response to compression. That means they will show a preferred alignment along some planes. In these planes, biotite or muscovite or amphibole platy minerals will get themselves oriented and concentration of those platy minerals will be more. By this way, they form the foliation or cleavage. And cystosity means when these biotite and muscovite kinds of cystos means shiny surface. They are biotite and muscovite. The meaning of these are obrok, mica group of minerals. So for ornamentation, we have seen many people use micas. These shining planes are called cystosity planes. And again the same phenomena where muscovite and biotite will concentrate along a plane, that plane will shine in field. So those will be called as cystosity planes or cleavage planes or foliation planes. So this is the concept of foliation plane, cleavage plane and cystosity planes. These all are diastrophic structures. This was related to fold, that is why I have explained. briefly, they not only occur due to compression, during shearing they can also occur, during extension they can also occur. But this is briefly the introduction of these planes to you. And sometimes during intense deformation and tectonic movement, this kind of planar and linear structures both we can see in the same rock. Suppose this is a rock body or cube of rock with intense deformation. There is no plane, everything has become linear, a rod-like feature. Everything has become linear. The deformation is so intense. And this, suppose this is the lineation. Lineation means something resembles a line. So this is the lineation, and this is a cube. In this face you will see the line, in this face you will see the line, but in this face you will see just a circle in the front of the chalk. So in two faces we will observe line, but in the third face we will get just circular equant appearance of the grain. So this kind of extremely deformed rocks are called L-tectonite. Example, deformed conglomerate. Conglomerate is a sedimentary rock. In general, conglomerate is different kind of grain size, more than 2 millimeter in diameter, up to boulder shaped or boulder sized. So if we compress this conglomerate, these grains will fall into an ellipsoid structure. So with extreme deformation, this ellipse will be more stretched and form the situation like this, L-tectonite. Now the L-tectonite if this is a cube and these are the foliation planes, for convenience suppose this is an inclined foliation plane, this is foliation plane, and within that foliation plane there are lineations. Then foliation planes are signified by L, S, and lineations are signified by L. This rock will be named as SL tectonite. Only lineation, that is L tectonite. Both foliation and lineation are SL tectonite, and if any rock has only such foliation planes without any lineation, then it will be named as S tectonite. So these are briefly the S tectonite, SL tectonite and L tectonite. And folds that closes upward are called antiform. Just reverse closes downward, they are synform, and those that closes sidewise, they are neutral. Based on the position of closure, these three classifications are there. And one important thing is antiform is not anticline. Though in oil industry these names are similar, but in proper classical structural geology they are not similar term. What is anticline? That will be covered during structural geology lecture in detail, but for the time being, antiform is not similar as anticline, and synform is not similar with syncline. Now, brief description of fold is over.